very chosen one carries a calling that cannot be hidden, denied, or suppressed. It begins as a subtle pull, a quiet stirring in the heart, a discomfort with ordinary living that grows stronger with each passing season. At first, you may not recognize it. You may think it is your ambition, your dreams, or your desire for something greater. But over time, you begin to realize that this urging does not come from within you. It comes from above you. It's not a personal desire, it's a divine command. And the more you try to silence it, the louder it becomes. The more you try to ignore it, the more life pushes you toward it. Because chosen ones are not permitted to remain stagnant. They are chosen to move, chosen to transform, chosen to rise. What makes the journey of a chosen one so different is that nothing in your life is random. Every struggle has meaning. Every delay carries purpose. Every closed door has divine timing written all over it. God orchestrates your path with such precision that even your heartbreaks become stepping stones toward your destiny. He allows experiences that break you because He intends to rebuild you in a way that aligns with your mission. When God places His hand on you, He does not ask for your comfort. He demands your obedience, and obedience to a divine command requires courage, sacrifice, and unwavering faith. Chosen ones often face loneliness not because they are unworthy, but because elevation requires isolation. God separates you from people who would dilute your purpose. He removes relationships that distract you from your calling. He detaches you from environments where your light is dimmed or unappreciated. It may feel painful, but it is necessary. The chosen are not meant to blend in with crowds. They are meant to stand out, to lead, to pave paths others fear to walk. And you cannot carry a divine assignment while holding on to what was never meant for your destiny. One of the greatest truths about being chosen is that your spirit will always sense when you are living below your calling. You can force yourself into a normal life, but your soul will never be at peace. You will feel restless, unsatisfied, disconnected from your environment. That is not a sign of failure, it is a sign of purpose. God is reminding you that your destiny is too great to be confined to mediocrity. You were designed to walk in spiritual authority, not to shrink to fit the expectations of others. You were crafted to create impact, not to vanish into the background. A divine command is different from personal motivation. Motivation fades, but a divine calling persists. It follows you into your sleep. It interrupts your comfort. It challenges your excuses. It humbles you until you are ready to surrender. And once you surrender, once you stop resisting and start listening, everything begins to align. Opportunities appear. Strength rises. Clarity returns. What once felt impossible begins to feel inevitable. This is the power of obedience. When you step into what God commanded, heaven steps in with you. And being chosen is not merely a blessing, it is a responsibility. It is a spiritual assignment that cannot be postponed or ignored without consequence. When God commands you to rise, He is not offering a suggestion. He is revealing your destiny. And when the chosen obey, mountains move, chains break, and the world around them changes. You are one of those chosen ones. You are called, appointed, and destined. And the time has come to answer the command you can no longer ignore. There is a moment in the life of every chosen one when the world around them begins to shift in ways they can no longer explain. What once felt normal becomes unsettling. What once felt comfortable begins to crumble. And what once satisfied no longer brings peace. This shift is not an accident. It is a divine signal. It is heaven's way of telling you that your old life can no longer contain the greatness placed inside you. Chosen ones are not called to remain in environments that limit them. They are designed to grow beyond their surroundings, to rise above ordinary expectations, and to fulfill an assignment uniquely crafted by God. And because of that, God will interrupt everything that stands in the way of your purpose. Divine interruption often appears as disappointment, delay, or heartbreak. But chosen ones eventually realize that their greatest losses were actually divine protection. God removes what you think you need because he knows what will harm your future. He disrupts your plans when they don't align with your destiny. He closes doors you begged him to keep open because they would have trapped you in seasons that could not hold your calling. Every chosen one experiences this pruning, this cutting away, because God is preparing them for a command that requires clarity, obedience, and strength. When God sets a divine command over your life, it is not delivered in the noise of the world. It is born in stillness. It is whispered in your spirit during your lowest moments, your quiet nights, your internal battles. It is a weight that rests on your heart, reminding you that you are here for a purpose far greater than survival. Chosen ones are not placed on earth to merely exist. They are positioned to influence, to heal, to lead, to awaken. And because of that, every trial you faced was shaping you for responsibility. Every wound was preparing your character. Every setback was strengthening your resilience. You were not being punished, you were being prepared. The reason chosen ones cannot ignore a divine command is because the command becomes part of their identity. You may try to distract yourself with people, with work, with routines, but deep down, you know you are meant for more. Your spirit refuses to settle for anything less than the assignment heaven wrote for you. This inner pull is not imagination, it is destiny. It is your soul recognizing that your time is approaching. It is God reminding you that you carry something the world desperately needs. Chosen ones often wrestle with doubt, feeling unqualified for the mission they sense within. You may look at your flaws, your failures, your past mistakes, and wonder why God would choose you. But God does not choose the perfect, he perfects the chosen. He calls those who feel unprepared so his power can be revealed through them. He calls those who feel small to accomplish what is great. The fact that you feel inadequate is often the greatest sign that the assignment is divine, because God's commands always stretch you beyond your own strength. In the divine command on your life is not simply a direction, it is a declaration of who you are. It is heaven announcing that you were created with intention, molded with purpose, and shaped for impact. You are not here by accident. You are not being pushed toward this calling by coincidence. You are being summoned by God himself. And when a chosen one is called, they cannot ignore it. Their spirit will know. To allow it, their destiny cannot delay it, and heaven will not withdraw it. This is your moment. This is your command. And the time to step into it is now. There comes a point in every chosen one's journey when the weight of destiny becomes impossible to escape. It does not matter how far you run, how deeply you hide, or how many excuses you build to protect your comfort zone. God's calling will always find you. It will follow you into new cities, whisper to you at midnight, sit on your heart in moments of silence, and remind you that your life is not like everyone else's. You were set apart for a reason that only heaven fully understands. And because of that, you cannot live an ordinary life. You cannot fit into places that others find comfortable. You cannot shrink into the background of a world you were created to impact. Chosen ones are different, and their path reveals that difference in ways they never expect. One of the clearest signs that you are chosen is the intensity of your inner battles. While others go through life without much resistance, the chosen face storms that threaten to break them. But these storms are not signs of abandonment. They are signs of divine investment. God invests the most in those he plans to use the most. Your hardships are not random, they are spiritual training. Your tears are not wasted, they water the roots of your purpose. Your battles are not punishments. They are confirmations that you carry something powerful inside you. And when you carry something powerful, spiritual resistance rises because the enemy understands your potential even before you do. Chosen ones often feel misunderstood because their spirit operates on a frequency others cannot hear. You may find yourself unable to explain why certain people no longer resonate with you, why old habits feel empty, or why you suddenly crave a deeper sense of meaning. This is spiritual evolution. God is elevating your awareness so you can recognize the mission He has placed before you. And with elevation comes separation. Not everyone can walk with you into your destiny. Not everyone is equipped to understand your spiritual assignment. Some people were meant only for chapters, not the entire book. And when God begins to move you forward, He will remove any attachment that threatens your growth. There is a divine urgency placed on the lives of chosen individuals. It feels like a spiritual push, a relentless tug on the heart that tells you you were made for more. You may try to silence it with distractions or bury it beneath responsibilities, but it always rises again. That is because heaven is waiting for your obedience. Your calling is not a suggestion, it is an instruction. It is a divine command, not just for your benefit, but for the people connected to your destiny. Someone's healing is tied to your voice. Someone's breakthrough is tied to your courage. Someone's transformation is tied to your obedience. When you rise, others rise. When you move, others move. When you answer God's command, chains break that you didn't even know existed. The chosen must understand that hesitation is costly. Delayed obedience is still disobedience. God will keep sending signs. He will keep stirring your spirit. He will keep disrupting your comfort until you surrender fully. You were not created to live a life of quiet survival. You were created to carry divine impact. Your calling is not waiting for you to be perfect. It is waiting for you to be willing. Once you step forward, heaven will handle the rest. Your journey has not been easy because your assignment is not small. Everything you have survived was preparing you for the moment you finally accept your divine command. You are chosen, not by chance, but by design. And the time has come to stop running, stop doubting, and stop hiding. You were called to rise. You were chosen to lead, and this is a command from heaven itself. A command you were never meant to ignore. There are certain people on this earth who feel a pull they cannot explain. A sense of purpose that does not fade, a quiet voice inside them that refuses to be silenced. These are the chosen ones. They may not always understand why they feel different, why they struggle more, or why life seems to shape them in ways others cannot relate to. But deep within their spirit, there is a truth they cannot deny. They were created for something greater than the life they once imagined. And with that truth comes a divine command, one that cannot be ignored, negotiated, or postponed. Chosen ones often live through seasons that break them down, not because God is punishing them, but because He is refining them. He uses challenges to sharpen their character, uses heartbreak to reveal their resilience, and uses isolation to draw them closer to their purpose. The intensity of their trials is proportional to the magnitude of their calling. And even when they do not see the bigger picture, God knows exactly what He is sculpting. He is building warriors, not wanderers, leaders, not followers, vessels of light, not victims of circumstance. Your deepest pain becomes the soil where your greatest purpose grows. There is something unique about the way chosen ones process life. They cannot stay in places their spirit has outgrown. They cannot pretend to be comfortable in environments where God is pushing them to evolve. They cannot force relationships, habits, or lifestyles that were never meant to travel with them into their destiny. When God marks someone as chosen, He begins to remove anything that interferes with their assignment. It may look like loss, but it is actually divine alignment. God is clearing the path so you can walk with clarity, strength, and spiritual authority. A chosen one's spirit is sensitive to divine timing. You may feel an urgency to change your life, to step into a new version of yourself, to break away from old patterns, even if you do not know what comes next. That urgency is not anxiety, It is heaven calling you forward. It is God whispering, you cannot stay where you are. And when God speaks like this, He is not offering advice. He is issuing a command to rise, a command to act, a command to step into the purpose that has been waiting for you. One of the hardest realizations for a chosen person is accepting that their calling is not about comfort. It is about impact. Your life carries influence you may not see yet. Your words, your courage, your transformation will touch people you haven't even met. The battles you survived weren't just for you. They were preparing you to guide others through their own darkness. You are not chosen for yourself alone. You are chosen because your journey will unlock the journeys of others. Your obedience will create breakthroughs in people who needed someone bold enough to go first. Ignoring a divine command leads only to internal unrest. A chosen one cannot silence their spirit. They cannot numb their assignment. They cannot escape their purpose. The more they resist, the heavier the burden becomes. But the moment they surrender, the moment they say, yes, God, I'm ready, everything begins to shift. Doors open, strength rises, peace returns, and the path ahead becomes illuminated in ways they never thought possible. In being chosen is a sacred responsibility. It means heaven trusted you enough to assign you a mission with eternal significance. And when God commands you to move, to speak, to rise, or to transform, it is not just for your benefit. It is for every soul connected to your destiny. You are not ordinary. You are not accidental. You are chosen. And this is a divine command you were never meant to ignore. Every chosen one eventually reaches a moment when they realize that life has never treated them like everyone else. While others move through seasons with ease, the chosen walk through fire. While others find comfort in ordinary routines, the chosen feel restless, as if something deep inside them is calling for more. This inner stirring is not a coincidence. It is the echo of a divine command placed within them long before they were born. It is heaven's instruction woven into their spirit, waiting for the right moment to awaken. And when it does, it shakes their entire existence. It changes how they see themselves, how they see the world, and how they understand their purpose. Chosen ones often wonder why their path is filled with obstacles, betrayals, and unexpected challenges. They look around and see others living peacefully while they themselves seem to be fighting invisible battles. What they do not realize is that these battles are not signs of abandonment. They are signs of selection. God does not train those with no assignment. He does not refine those with no purpose. He does not break down those He does not intend to build back up stronger. Every difficult season in a chosen one's life is carefully designed to prepare them for the weight of the destiny they carry. There is a level of strength that can only be eloped through pressure. There is a level of wisdom that can only be gained through loss. There is a level of discernment that can only be learned through loneliness. Chosen ones do not walk easy paths because easy paths do not produce leaders. They do not experience ordinary life because ordinary life cannot reveal extraordinary calling. And so God permits the storms, the darkness, the confusion, not to destroy them, but to awaken them. These experiences strip away pride, fear, and dependency on the world. They force the chosen to listen, to observe, and to grow. They prepare the heart to receive the divine command with clarity and courage. When God speaks to a chosen one, it may not come through a booming voice or a supernatural sign. Sometimes it arrives in the form of a conviction that refuses to leave, a direction that keeps appearing, or an idea that burns too fiercely to ignore. This is the divine command, a spiritual assignment that carries eternal weight. It is not always easy to accept because it often pulls the chosen out of comfort zones, away from familiar faces, and into territories full of uncertainty. But chosen ones are not called to walk familiar ground. They are called to pioneer. They are called to elevate. They are called to break generational patterns, open new paths. and usher in change that others never imagined. Ignoring the divine command brings a silent heaviness. The chosen may attempt to live normally, but their spirit becomes restless. Peace becomes elusive. Fulfillment becomes impossible. This discomfort is not punishment. It is God's reminder that they were built for more. They can try to delay their calling, but they cannot escape it. Their destiny is woven into their identity. And until they step into it, life will continue nudging, pushing, and guiding them back to the path they were always meant to walk. And being chosen is not a superiority. It is about responsibility. It is about embracing the sacred assignment written over your life and understanding that your obedience holds the power to change lives. A divine command is not something the chosen can ignore because their soul recognizes its truth. When God says move, it is because greater things are waiting ahead. When God says rise, it is because He has equipped you for heights others cannot reach. You are chosen for a reason, and the time has come to honor the command heaven placed upon your life. There comes a stage in the life of every chosen one where the separation becomes undeniable. It is not a separation forced by people, but a separation orchestrated by heaven itself. You begin to notice that the things that once entertained you no longer satisfy you. The circles you once fit into now feel unfamiliar, and the dreams you once held start to feel too small for the person you are becoming. This shift is not accidental. It is a spiritual transition. God is moving you from who you were to who He needs you to be. And this transformation always begins with a divine command. A calling so deep, so persistent, so powerful that no chosen one can ignore it forever. Chosen ones often experience life at a deeper emotional and spiritual level. When others brush off experiences, the chosen reflect, question, and search for meaning. When others complain about obstacles, the chosen sense hidden lessons, spiritual signals, and messages from God. This sensitivity is not weakness, it is a gift. It is evidence that your spirit is tuned to heaven's frequency. You notice things others overlook. You feel shifts others cannot sense. You discern truths others ignore. This is why God assigns you responsibilities that require spiritual depth, emotional maturity, and unwavering faith. Many chosen ones go through seasons of isolation, not because they are to be alone permanently, but because solitude clears the noise. It disconnects you from influences that cloud your vision. It removes distractions that weaken your focus. In isolation, you begin to hear God more clearly. You begin to recognize the patterns in your life. You begin to see the spiritual warfare surrounding your destiny. And most importantly, you begin to understand the divine command that has been placed on your life. Isolation is not punishment, it is preparation. The divine command given to the chosen is rarely comfortable. It stretches you, it challenges your assumptions, it forces you to reevaluate your priorities. It may ask you to walk away from relationships, careers, or environments that no longer align with your calling. This is because God cannot elevate you while you're holding on to things that diminish you. The chosen must walk light. They must carry only what strengthens their purpose. They must be willing to surrender what no longer serves their growth. And while surrender may feel painful, it is the doorway to acceleration. Chosen ones have something inside them that refuses to settle, even when they try to blend in. Their spirit pushes them back to their path. Even when they try to silence their calling, life reminds them of it through signs, dreams, conversations, and divine disruptions. You may think you are delaying your calling, but what you are really delaying is your peace. Because chosen ones cannot disobey their spiritual assignment without feeling the consequences internally. Restlessness, dissatisfaction, and a sense of incompleteness begin to grow. These feelings are not failures. They are reminders. Reminders that you are out of alignment with God's purpose for your life. The divine command placed upon the chosen is not just about achieving something great. It is about becoming something great. It is about the transformati on of the soul, the strengthening of the character, and the awakening of the spirit. It is God shaping you into a vessel capable of carrying the weight of your destiny. He is not only calling you to do something, He is calling you to become someone. And to be chosen is to be summoned by heaven with intention and purpose. It means God has seen something in you that the world may not yet recognize. It means your journey, your pain, your lessons, and your growth all serve a divine purpose. And when God places a command on your life, it is not optional. It is destiny demanding to be fulfilled. The time has come to stop resisting, stop hiding, and stop delaying. You are chosen, you are called, and you are ready. This is a divine command you can no longer ignore. Every chosen one experiences a life that feels different from the rest. It is a life marked by signs, struggles, and moments that set them apart, even before they fully understand why. There is an inner stirring, a pull toward something greater, a sense that the world has more to offer them than ordinary experiences. This is the unmistakable voice of a divine command, calling them to a destiny that cannot be ignored. The call may not always be loud or dramatic. Sometimes it is subtle, persistent, and unrelenting, appearing in moments of quiet reflection, in restless nights, or through repeated doors that open or close. The chosen feel it because their spirit is tuned to heaven's frequency, and it will not allow them to settle for anything less than the purpose God intended. Chosen ones are often tested more than others, not because they are weak, but because they are strong. God does not assign the ordinary to perform extraordinary work. He does not entrust His assignments to those unwilling to endure pressure. Every trial, every disappointment, every heartbreak carries a lesson designed to refine the chosen. They are being strengthened in ways that prepare them for the responsibilities they are about to inherit. What feels like suffering is actually spiritual training. What feels like loss is often divine protection. And what feels like isolation is preparation for the greatness that lies ahead. The chosen are being shaped to fulfill a command that requires resilience, courage, and unwavering faith. A chosen one's journey is rarely understood by those around them. People may criticize, doubt, or even try to discourage them, not realizing that what they are witnessing is a process designed by God. The chosen often feel misunderstood because their vision extends beyond what others can see. Their dreams, their priorities, and their calling appear unconventional to the world. But it is exactly this uniqueness that allows them to fulfill a divine command. Heaven has no ordinary plans for ordinary people. When God chooses someone, He chooses them for impact, influence, and transformation. The chosen cannot ignore this calling, because ignoring it would not just affect them, it would affect everyone their assignment is meant to touch. The divine command placed on a chosen one often requires sacrifice. It demands letting go of habits, relationships, and comforts that no longer align with the mission. It challenges them to rise above fear, to walk in courage, and to take steps that may seem uncertain or even impossible. Yet, the chosen understand that obedience is greater than convenience, purpose is higher than comfort, and destiny outweighs delay. The path is not always easy, but it is necessary. Every step toward the divine command brings alignment with the will of God and prepares the chosen for the greater impact they were designed to make. The pressure a chosen one feels is not punishment, it is proof of their preparation. The urgency within their spirit, the restlessness in their heart, and the persistence of divine direction are all indicators that their assignment is near. Delaying obedience does not remove the responsibility. It only prolongs the season of preparation and intensifies the weight of expectation. The chosen are called to move when God says move, to rise when He says rise, and to act when the Spirit compels. Resistance is temporary, alignment is eternal. In being chosen is both a privilege and a responsibility. It is an acknowledgement that God has seen your potential, your strength, and your capacity to fulfill what others cannot. It is a call to rise above the ordinary and step boldly into a divine assignment that affects not just your life, but the lives of countless others. The divine command is not a suggestion, a recommendation, or an option. It is a mandate from heaven, and the time to answer it is now. Chosen ones, embrace your calling, step into your destiny, and fulfill the command you can no longer ignore. There are moments in the life of a chosen one when the ordinary world begins to feel foreign. Nothing around you seems to fit anymore. The people, the routines, the familiar comforts, they no longer satisfy the hunger that grows inside your spirit. That hunger is the voice of a divine command, echoing from heaven, calling you to a life that is larger than anything you have ever imagined. Chosen ones are not made for mediocrity. They are not designed to drift through life unnoticed. From the moment God calls them, their existence carries purpose, impact, and responsibility. And with purpose comes a command that cannot be ignored, a call that will follow them through every season until it is fully embraced. The journey of the chosen is not meant to be easy. In fact, the difficulties you face are evidence of your selection. God does not assign ordinary tasks to ordinary people. Every challenge, every trial, every heartbreak is preparation for the weight of the calling upon your life. Your struggles refine your character, strengthen your resolve, and deepen your faith. What feels like suffering is, in truth, spiritual training. What feels like isolation is divine positioning. What feels like delay is actually the perfect timing of heaven. Chosen ones are being equipped for a mission so great that only those prepared by God can fulfill it. A chosen one is often misunderstood by those around them. Friends may doubt, family may question, and the world may criticize. People cannot always perceive the destiny that lies within you, and that is why the path can feel lonely. Yet this isolation is not a curse, it is a preparation. It is a sacred space where your spirit learns to hear God's voice clearly, where your faith deepens, and where your purpose becomes unmistakably clear. The chosen cannot rely on human approval because their guidance comes from heaven, and obedience to this divine command takes precedence over comfort, popularity, or worldly recognition. The divine command placed upon the chosen one often demands sacrifice. It asks you to let go of familiar attachments, to leave behind old patterns, and to step courageously into the unknown. It challenges you to prioritize destiny over desire, obedience over ease, and purpose over personal comfort. While the steps may feel daunting, each one brings alignment with God's will, clarity of vision, and empowerment for the impact you were created to have. The path of the chosen is not measured by comfort, but by the magnitude of the transformation it produces in your life and in the lives of those you are meant to touch. Sure, restlessness and urgency are natural companions for the chosen. These feelings are not signs of failure. They are proof that heaven is calling you to rise. The divine command cannot be postponed indefinitely. Every delay intensifies the call and sharpens the lessons necessary for the next season. Obedience may require courage, but it also brings favor, clarity, and supernatural provision. The chosen move not when it is convenient, but when the Spirit compels, because heaven does not issue commands that can be ignored. To be chosen is to be entrusted with a mission of eternal significance. It is to be recognized by heaven as someone capable of fulfilling what others cannot. The divine command placed upon your life is not optional. It is a mandate for transformation, for leadership, and for influence. Chosen ones are called to rise above mediocrity, to step boldly into their destiny, and to fulfill the assignment God designed for them. The time to answer is now. The call cannot wait. The command cannot be ignored. You are chosen, you are called, and your obedience will change everything.